Hello. What's up? What's up? Hi. All right, it's time to present the award for Best Action Game. These games are all wildly different. Some new franchises, some beloved sequels, all with their own unique adversaries and objectives. But the one thing that they have in common is that they set the bar for lively combat and thrills. All right, ready? All right, here's the nominees.
Best Action Game.
Try and keep up.
Time to kick some ass.
It's the strongest what survives.
All right, this is heavy. And the winner is Devil May Cry 5.
Back when I was a young lad, my gaming experiences were limited to racing games as well as sports games. The occasional Star Wars games would make their way in, like Battlefront, which is what I played the most on my PlayStation 2 back then, alongside Star Wars: The Revenge of the Sith. No, not the movie. One of the best video game movie tie-ins that till this day is one of the best dueling lightsaber games ever made. And you can debate me on that. I love that game. Anyhow, that all changed one day when I was in my room playing my Game Boy Advance when across the hall my cousin, who was living with us at the time, was playing these so-called quote-unquote cool games. Now, on this channel I have brought up my cousin before. He is a straight-up G, and I doubt he knows how much he inspired my taste in games, but nonetheless, I knew these were video games I wanted to play and try. Because my mom at the time, if she caught me watching him play these PS2 games, like for instance, the original Killzone, she would quickly tell me to get out, you're not allowed to watch that stuff. Well, one day, when my mom was at the store, my cousin brought home a game that I quickly was fascinated with, and by the time I saw the title screen, that was it. I officially thought it was the coolest shit ever.
Let's rock, baby.
The title screen was just downright amazing. Even to this day, I still like watching it because it just has that early 2000s vibe that I love. I saw him boot up the game and I start slaying some demons, and I never saw gameplay so violent and fun before. Throwing combos down and shooting demons while throwing them up in the air, it was simply the coolest shit my kid brain could think about or comprehend. My mom came home and luckily I retreated to my room in time before I can get caught watching him play, and that experience always stuck with me and it made me want to play the game. Now, I know I've said this story before, but when my cousin was moving out of my house, he gave me his PlayStation 2 along with a few great games. Need for Speed Underground 2, Madden 2005, which is still the best Madden of all time, by the way, Soul Calibur 2, and a title I did in no way expect, Devil May Cry 2. Now, he left these on my bed because I think I was out somewhere before he left, and I was so excited I, without thinking, rushed downstairs holding all the games to show my mom. And she was happy for me and said how nice of him to do that, until she saw the title and cover of Devil May Cry 2. Now, I was a dumbass kid, okay? give me a break, man. She grabbed that game so damn fast and called my cousin up. I went back to my room upset of how dumb I really was. It wasn't 5 minutes later when my mom called me downstairs, handing me the phone and saying, "Here, your cousin wants to talk to you." And I'll never forget what he said to me. Quote, "You seriously cannot be that dumb." End quote. This notorious franchise escaped me for many years, with all those memories along with it, and before I even got to play the damn games. It wasn't until 2022, when I saw DMC5 for sale on Xbox, that all my memories came flooding back. and upon finishing the game, I knew one day I would have to go back and play this series after having so much fun with that game. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that day is today, where I finally get to sit down and play the series that was so elusive and notorious for my young self for so many years. I won't be covering the reboot today, I will just be focusing on the mainline games obviously, so sit back, relax, grab a drink, and get a snack because this is going to be a long one, and as we go through the Devil May Cry games, we are going to score them. And keep in mind, my scale of scoring is 1 being the absolute worst, 5 being average, and 10 being a masterpiece. There are no IGN cop-out average 7s on this channel. If you got a 7, that was a pretty decent score. And I think this goes without saying though, but spoiler warning, just in case. So get ready to lock and load and hit the jackpot, because in this series, you don't just slay demons, you look good while doing it. And just like that, we're underway. Devil May Cry 1, or DMC1, is the game that started it all for me. It was the first one that I ever saw in the franchise, and it was an absolute treat going back and playing this. DMC1 is not only stylish, but an absolute blast to play. The story is essentially going to an island to stop a demon from taking over the world. Dante, who is the main protagonist, along with Trish, a mysterious woman who informs Dante of these events about to happen. And of course, Dante agrees to go, to get revenge for his mother and brother. With that, the game takes off, and as soon as you start playing the game, it has this gothic horror, old school vibe that I just adore.
The castle is above this cliff. Come on, let's go! Ha!
The combat, although simple at first, starts getting better and better, because as you go through the game, you get better weapons, unlock new combos, increase your health. I cannot tell you and emphasize how refreshing this game feels after the so-called games of today. Also, the cool thing is about this game is that while you're doing combos, you're getting graded. What are you being graded on, you might ask? Well, how cool you look slaying demons. You need to make sure that your combos look cool as hell, as well as chaining them together for multiple hits to get the best grade, and not just spamming the same attack. The game also emphasizes replayability, so that you get better grades and scores. And of course, what would be an old school game like this without boss fights? Now I will say I thoroughly enjoyed the boss fights in this game, even when they were recycled, except for that damn nightmare blob guy. Seriously, screw that thing. There was also some easy puzzle solving that is spread about the castle you're in to switch up gameplay, and I personally thought it was a really nice touch. Really, the only bad things I could say about this game are really just overall the camera angles. I cannot tell you how many times I got screwed over because the camera was not angled properly in a boss fight and or jumping and parkouring. The game is from 2001, so I really can't complain too much. Again, some bosses recycle themselves, which is a bit annoying, but it doesn't take away from the experience that Devil Devil May Cry wants you to have. The story wraps up very nicely because although simple, it's effective at moving the plot forward, and I will admit the final boss fight, even on normal, gave me trouble for the last bit of the game. Maybe I'm just bad, but damn did he piss me off for quite a bit. Overall, I would be lying if I didn't say I cracked a smile at some of Dante's lines, or having fun combining the combos with the double barrel shotgun, and or finding a grenade launcher. That shit genuinely surprised me. This game is just pure fun, and although challenging at times, it doesn't take away from the experience. I highly urge anyone who hasn't played the classic to play it. It fits that old school vibe that is aged like fine wine, and if you're into hack and slash games, you have a great time ahead of yourself. The final verdict for Devil May Cry 1 is an 8 out of 10.
It looks like we have a winner.
Jackpot.
Goodbye. And when you do come back, give my regards to my son, will ya?
Alright, so heading into the second game of the series, I knew that it wasn't exactly favored by the fans, but I just didn't know how much, you know? But I was still excited because it was simply my first Devil May Cry game that I technically owned, and the story that I told you earlier, and I knew that it couldn't be that bad. Right? Right, guys?
That was really bad.
Now, before I get into this game, I will say some things that are good about it. I like that Dante can wall run and do flips off them. I think that's pretty cool. I also enjoyed the fact that a little into the game, Dante picks up 2 submachine guns, which are modeled after one of my favorite guns of all time, the MP5.
Folded stock so we can open it up. Really easy to load. We just put the magazine on, hit the working parts, they go forward, and away you go.
Now, they aren't a true MP5, they're modeled off the MP5K, but still the game gets a bonus point for that because of how much I love that damn gun, considering I own the civilian version. I also like how you can easily switch weapons with L2, and that's about it. I just wanted to get the good stuff out of the way because, well, now you know I said something nice about it. DMC2 is downright disappointing, as well as the least amount of fun I have ever had playing a video game. I know that's a bold statement, but hear me out. Seriously, if you made it this far in the video, I never ask for likes, okay? But please, like my goodness, DMC2 was such a chore to play, but I played it for you guys. Cause you know, you're awesome. The story is so bare minimum, and that's putting it lightly. Dante barely says anything at all. When I was going through the missions, I saw Dante get a motorcycle, and I was like, oh cool, he's gonna say something cool or cheesy or fun, right? Nope. No. Nothing. Nothing at all. Dante sees an infected demon tank shoot at him and misses, and I thought, sweet, he's gonna say a clever comeback. And so would you think? No, what are you, a fucking idiot? No, he doesn't say anything at all. It is unbelievable how bad this game is. From the so-called story, and the only good line Dante says is at the second to last mission of the game.
I was going to be the king of this world.
King? Yeah. Here's your crown.
Why is that? Why is that the only good line? Why is that the only good line throughout the entire fucking game? The combat in this game is easy and broken. Two great combinations. Now look, I am in no way shaming people who play games on easy. You'll see later in the video. I do it, we all have done it. Sometimes you just want to have a chill time, a relaxing time, and enjoy a game's storyline. But this game? No. No way. I'll show you what happens. I'm not making this up. Multiple encounters go down like this. I only died in this game like 3 times, and 2 of them were off of some bullshit. The game is not in any way rewarding to play. It's slow, boring, there's none of Dante's quips to keep you entertained. You are literally just placed in a level, and there you go. It is so agonizing because by mission 3, I audibly said out loud to myself, so this is how the game's gonna be, huh? What a huge step back. Mission 14 was where I heavily debated dropping the game, because you have to go hit these blue orbs to activate a gate, and there are no hints on where to find them, and it took me over a half an hour. Now, I know why people hate this game, and fans of the series never bring it up, and encourage skipping it. It's boring, dull, broken, and downright lacking in every single department. Oh, and somehow, the camera is even worse! Boss battles are terrible, and it's just a bad game, dude. The last straw was when I beat the game, and it said, now go play as Lucia and finish her side of the story.
First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Yeah, fucking right. Upon completing the quote-unquote story in this game, I looked into it because I was so taken back, and Capcom did not have the original developers who made the first game work on this one. They were too busy working on another project, and still, this game had good concepts, like for instance seeing how you were graded at the ends of levels, or like I said earlier, weapon swapping, but to know this game was stuck in development hell by people who didn't even know the franchise is downright criminal. Oh, and by the way, the reason why Dante doesn't talk is because someone on DMC2's development team thought that having a devil hunter who was sarcastic and funny doesn't fit the vibe. I shit you not.
Well, what have we here? Do you have to ask?
Maybe another time.
Let's waste no more time on this game, because as many breaks as I had to take trying to beat this, it's best to sweep it under the rug and move on. Every franchise always has its rough spots or rough games or whatever, but anyways, let's just keep it moving. The final verdict for DMC2, it gets a 2 out of 10. Let's just hope DMC3 gets better from here.
You find what you were looking for?
Yes. Now we can stop Arius's ambition.
Whatever.
If you couldn't tell, we are so back, baby.
We are back, baby. We are fucking back. We're back. Classic. We are back.
DMC3 is a prequel to the first game, and the premise of the story is an awesome setup. Dante is visited by an unknown man who tells him his brother Virgil sends his regards. A huge tower is brought up underground by Virgil, and I don't know about anyone else, but I love towers. I think it's so simple and effective with an objective of just trying to get to the top to beat the big bad guy. With that, the world around Dante is evolved into chaos. But the great thing about DMC3 is Dante is back to being Dante. The wisecracks, the showboating, the cheesy corny lines, it's all there.
Damn it.
You guys totally wrecked my shop, and I haven't even named it yet. You're gonna pay for that. To cover all this.
On top of that, Virgil, who's Dante's brother, is a bit of a badass. Actually, scratch that bit part out, the man is a badass. The story and levels to this game are great in the early stages. Keyword early. Now I will say my goal for this video was to beat all DMC games on at least normal difficulty. And that happened with DMC 1 and DMC 2. But let me tell you, that DMC 3 gave me so many headaches the further I got into the game, that my neighbors were hearing the profanity as well as my loudness that just kept on growing. Before we get to that though, this game's gameplay is leagues better than DMC 2. The polar opposite actually. It's responsive and it's fun, and you can tell right away the original developers from the first entry were back on this one. Granted, the bosses are creative and well designed, but are tough as hell. And let me tell you, normal mode, the game's levels are supposed to take you anywhere on average from 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, my ass. The cutscenes feel very well done, and you can see the tremendous production value on top of stitching and molding this game's story together. The reason why I kept up with the harder boss fights was because I wanted to find out more and more to see what happened. I also enjoyed the styles Dante could pick, giving more leeway to the player, and experimentation, like Swordmaster, Trickster. It's a very nice touch. But I will be honest here, I stopped after mission 18. 2 missions away from the game's ending conclusion, and because it was just that difficult for me. Now I know people will tell me, just put it on easy mode or get good. However, I was already so far into the game and you would have to restart the game over again in order to start on easy difficulty. And due to me wanting to get this video out in a timely manner, well, yeah, unfortunately, that wasn't going to happen. Now, will me not beating it reflect in its review score? No, it will not. But some level designs certainly will. I'm telling you right now, missions 15 and up are not only difficult, but can be infuriating. This game, although it has solid combat, a great story, and a phenomenal soundtrack, there are just some annoying ass levels with enemies and bosses that not only made me question myself as I was playing the game, but made me envision the developers laughing in the office as they created these tough bosses and enemy placements. Enemies, although tough as nails, make sure to utilize all of the player's arsenal. Sometimes enemies have to be stunned with guns, sometimes they have to be flanked. It creates strategy while playing. Some level designs, though, felt like they were straight from DMC2's cutting floor, with navigation being so poor and me having to result in looking up guides online. Also, the camera. It seemed like a big improvement at first, but as the game went on, it was a hindrance to say the least, especially in crucial boss battles, which I was constantly losing my shit to.
Why do you refuse to gain power?
I applaud whoever beats this game on normal and above. You have my respect and of course a virtual fist bump from me. I just couldn't beat the game because after having such a tough time beating the bosses the first time around, spoiler alert, the game gives you all of them again, and little did I know this is actually a Devil May Cry tradition. Yeah, so to say I put my controller down would be an understatement. Now granted, what I did was I decided to watch the game's conclusion on YouTube because, well, to put it simply, I was just tired. Call me any name you want, I know that in my heart I did try, okay? Granted, the ending of this game was worth watching, as well as playing till the end. DMC3 was a great return to form for the franchise, as well as a much needed one after the god-awful DMC2. I smiled and laughed at Dante's jokes, as well as learning to appreciate and like Virgil, plus the addition of the new character, Lady, aka Mary. Even though I literally almost beat the game, it deserves not only my respect, but a great placement in the franchise. The final verdict for DMC3 is an 8 out of 10. You thought I was going to rate it lower, didn't you?
I found you, seed of Sparta. I told you that I remembered your ancient scent. No matter where you went, you could never house me. You're not the one I faced before. But this smell, there are two of them. That excellent Sparta had two sons.
After the launch of Devil May Cry 3 in 2005, fans waited for a follow-up sequel. And finally, in 2008, Devil May Cry 4 released. I really enjoyed my time in Devil May Cry 4. From the opening cutscene, the cinematography was great. The introduction to Nero was a solid one, and certain shots and cutscenes as you went through the game were really good. Sorry, I'm a sucker for cinematography, okay? The gameplay was fun, responsive, and quick, and also feeling more improvements than the last couple games, considering this was the first game on next-gen systems at the time, being PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. The navigation is easy to understand, as well as the camera had a much needed improvement, no longer annoying me. The voice performances were also fantastic, especially the highlight for me being Johnny Young Bosk, who is one of my favorite voice actors. This dude kills his role, and even though sometimes the story might not be the best at times, his delivery with Nero more than makes up for it.
Hey kid, you giving up so soon?
My options are limited.
So melodramatic. Besides, if you die without giving my sword back, I'm gonna be pissed.
Then come and get it.
What a punk.
Characters from all of the games are here. You have playable campaigns with newcomer Nero, and along with Dante, you also get to play as Trish and Lady, as well as Virgil, which is a pretty cool touch. However, upon beating the game, I realized that there are not really separate campaigns, more like character swaps to replay the same missions you just played. The problem with DMC4 is that for me, it was on track to be one of my favorites. That was until I realized that halfway through the game, when you switch back to Dante, you are essentially going through the same levels you just beat in reverse order. And man, the disappointment I felt was immeasurable. You see, DMC4 has a great tone and vibe that goes along with it, none more prevalent than when Nero is about to enter a castle out in the snowy mountains in the early missions. I was excited thinking that this is like a return to the first game in the series to pay homage, and on top of that, we are greeted by a very interesting as well as a mysterious woman.
You're from the Order? I've never seen you before.
I'm new. Gloria.
In the early missions, DMC4 is great fun. As you go through the game, there are some plot holes, like the Order wanting to summon demonic power only to think they can handle it. Spoiler alert, they can't. Gloria, that fine-ass chick from earlier, when she finally meets Dante, I thought it was going to be an interesting conversation, along with a cool boss fight.
That regal look suits you.
I dress to impress.
Since when the hell could Trish shapeshift? I mean, like, when was this established in the series? I was so confused. Like, I'm not complaining or anything. Kyrie's character, or Nero's love interest, is really never shown to have much personality. She's just really there to keep Nero's motivations. And look, like I said before, it's not the best story, but I enjoyed it up until having to play the same levels again. Even when I was going through with Dante, it was still really fun hearing his smart-ass lines when facing the same bosses. The point of the matter is this. Although DMC4 in my eyes is a good game, it felt like it was underbaked and not enough time was left to finish it. Apparently Capcom at the time was under pressure to deliver a new high quality game for the 360 and PS3 back in the day, so they rushed the development teams to get the projects out, especially trying to get the game out the door for the launch of the PlayStation 3, and they 100% missed that. And man, this game would have been so intriguing to see if they only had more development time. The gameplay in DMC4 is something I thoroughly enjoyed, from grabbing enemies with Nero's Demon Claw or switching up styles with Dante on the fly, which is a godsend by the way. I did like Trish and Lady's banter with Dante in a cutscene, showing the trio and getting a glimpse at how they act when they're not on a mission. And I know this is a really small thing to notice, but man, the divinity statues, which you use to power up your character and buy items, has the best menu music in the series. Seriously, you can hear the angelic voice of the song in the first scene of the game, and it just feels relaxing and calming. It's such a nice touch. I don't know why, but I thought I'd bring it up because it had me staying in the menus a little bit longer. All in all, Devil May Cry 4 to me is summed up in 2 words: underutilized potential. A game that with no doubt in my mind would have flourished if it only had more development time. Because you could tell the ideas were there as well as the whole cast of characters, it just never reached the finish line. The final verdict for DMC4 is a 7 out of 10.
Well then, I'd have something to keep me occupied and... Trish!
Try not to keep us waiting, Dante.
Yeah.
Well, we made it. Finally to the last entry on our list, and to be quite honest, sometimes you save the best for last. Released in 2019, Devil May Cry 5 is without a shadow of a doubt the best game in the series. From the cinematics, the art direction, the voice acting, and level design, it's all there and it is the complete package. Upon replaying DMC5 for this video, in which the last time I did was in 2022 like I said earlier, the story mode made a lot more sense now, having played the previous games. But even for newcomers, you can start with this game because it gives you a sum up of all that has happened so far. It is unbelievable to think that we are in an era of games where the cutscenes look exactly like the gameplay, and my old school fans will know what I'm talking about. As I said before, the presentation of DMC5 is not just the best in the series, but one of the best in the action genre. Capcom really started hitting a streak with their IPs in 2017 and hasn't looked back. The gameplay of DMC5 isn't just an improvement, it is damn near perfected. From Dante's crazy weapons, to Nero's arm abilities, and even the mysterious V's summonings, there is always something to switch up gameplay and to master.
His research wasn't half bad. Came in handy. Mildly thankful for that.
They have to do that in here. It already smells like gas.
That's you.
But to me, none of that matters if there is no good story, and well, there actually is. The story is great with the returning DMC cast. The only gripe I have with the writing is the bouncing back and forth between the dates and the previous months. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the story is bad, that's definitely what I'm not saying. I'm just saying that it has some boomerang writing that can get annoying from time to time because of how good the story is that you want to keep continuing to see what happens. The RE engine that Capcom uses for their games is stunning. Cutscenes play out like you're watching a movie, player models are lifelike, and of course, frame rates are very good and optimized. With me during my playtime only experiencing a few drops when there are multiple things going down on screen, I mean a lot of things. The writing had me laughing out loud sometimes of what characters did and or would say to one another.
For a second there, I thought you were gonna shish kebab me.
I know how stubborn you can be. I thought it might be the only way to wake you.
What day is it?
The 15th of June.
A month?
No wonder I'm so stiff.
Right, Sunshine. Now put a fire under it. We gotta get going because that annoying pimple Nero is making a beeline for Eurus, and if he gets there, he's gonna go.
Nico is the new addition to the DMC crew. She serves as the mechanic for Nero and the creator of his Devil Breaker arms. She is a great addition to the game in my personal opinion, because at first I thought she was sometimes trying a little bit too hard, but as the game goes on she really grows on you, and she doesn't even feel like she's a new addition to the crew, it feels like she's been there the whole time. And the dynamic she has with Nero is just hysterical at times.
All I'm saying is, tough guy, it's okay to cry if you want.
I'm not crying.
Devils cry.
I'm not gonna
Kittens
cry. Will you
Meow.
shut up? Will you
Puppies
stop
cry.
it? Look at you. You're
Why don't you
nobody's
cry on my
crying, all
shoulder?
right? Stop
Come
saying
on, cry on
cry.
my shoulder. I know you wanna.
You say cry again. Devil may cry.
I know I'm reiterating myself at this point, but the voice acting is phenomenal. I can't emphasize how good the voice acting is with characters delivering their lines damn near perfectly or making witty comebacks. It's nothing short of impressive. The sound design is also exceptional, perfectly blending the game's fast-paced and stylish combat. For example, Dante's guns, Ebony and Ivory, sound brutal, as well as the double-barrel shotgun. I know it's a word I throw around a lot, but I love immersion in games. Helping lock a player into the world, and with the audio work in this game, it heightens the player's immersion. The crisp and distinct audio cues for each attack and enemy movement helps players stay engaged and responsive, so that gameplay never has a dull moment. DMC5 also does some referencing back to old titles to pay homage to the games before it.
Looks like your master's got you on a pretty short leash. Come on, little puppy. I'll take you out for a walk. Come on, let's go.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
Easy, Fido. How about I take you out for a walk? Come on, puppy. Let's go.
The soundtrack is also a really neat touch. Little did I know, but before actually researching for this video, it's actually dynamic. So the soundtrack, while you're cutting up demons, the better you do, the more guitar riffs and all the instruments come in. It's really cool, and I cannot believe I just learned that as I was researching. Anyways, just like previous games in the series, the game is highly replayable, wanting you to go back and get better high scores, play on harder difficulties, and the game constantly challenges you, and it's just fun. Because depending on your mood with DMC5, you can have a chill time or a balls to the wall crazy ass time.
Who brought the marshmallows? Because I'm bringing the fire.
DMC5 not only hit critical praise, but also fan praise. It is a game series that after so long figured out all the elements to make it work, as well as giving proper development time to create it. DMC5 isn't just a good Devil May Cry game, it's one of the best action games I have ever played. The final verdict for DMC5 is a 9 out of 10.
Don't you dare say it, jackpot!
If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I can't thank you enough for all the support these past few months and seeing this channel grow little by little. It is truly awesome. This series has been following me for years at this point, and finally being able to sit down and play it was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see where this franchise goes, considering that now I'm a fan. However, upon learning that Hideaki Hitsuno, the director and creator of DMC, left in August, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens in time, unfortunately. From small beginnings at Capcom, Devil May Cry has turned into one of the most beloved IPs from action fans. Providing fast-paced combat with beloved characters, it continues to set the bar on creativity and excitement. Although we may have to wait for a long time to see another entry to this amazing series, who knows what's on the horizon, and maybe the best is still yet to come.